breaking news this Wednesday night. Shots fired at a Super Bowl victory parade, the celebration that turned deadly. Another brutal snowstorm blankets Atlantic Canada. The headaches, the hazardous roads, and the impromptu holiday for students. Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash drivers stop working.
Shame on them!
The protest across North America over what workers call legislated poverty. And will you neuter your ex this Valentine's Day?
This campaign it's clever, it's funny.
The popular campaign at animal shelters that's actually an act of love.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news. Another shooting in the United States, this time at the Super Bowl victory parade. Hundreds of thousands of people were celebrating in Kansas City, Missouri when shots were fired. At least one person has died. Up to 22 more are injured. Police say many of them are children. There is still a very heavy police presence at the scene. Jackson Proskow is watching this for us. Jackson, bring us up to speed.
Hi, Donna. This was at the end of the parade route. The parade had just wrapped up in an area where about 1 million people had been expected to gather today. The gunshots rang out outside the city's main train station near a stage. We know that several of the injured are in critical condition tonight. 3 persons of interest are in police custody right now, but it's not clear what their role may have been. Preliminary reports are describing this shooting as being criminal in nature and not necessarily targeted or an act of terrorism. But of course, the investigation is just beginning. This is going to take time to flush out. We know that the city's mayor and the state's governor were among those who had to flee for safety. And tonight, the city's police chief is expressing disgust at what happened.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment.
You know, as those gunshots rang out, we saw scenes of panic and mayhem in the crowd, and some of the injured may have been hurt in the crush. Unfortunately, Donna, incidents like this are now so common in the United States that today's shooting happened on the 6th anniversary of the Parkland school shooting in Florida, which left 17 people dead back then.
Jackson Proskow on the shooting at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City tonight. Thanks. A snowstorm has walloped eastern Newfoundland after dumping heavy snow on Nova Scotia. Several winter storm warnings are in effect, including for St. John's. Up to 50 centimeters of snow is expected. And this is Halifax. People back at it, digging out less than 2 weeks after a nor'easter dumped up to 150 centimeters of snow there. It has certainly slowed things down, and as Heidi Petracek reports, it's kept a Valentine's Day tradition going in Newfoundland.
It's become nature's Valentine's Day gift to Newfoundland. The storm, the third to slam into the rock on February 14th in as many years in a row. Making for messy driving for flower shop owner John Frecker's last-minute deliveries.
It's unfortunately far too frequent. Typically, I think statistically, it's about 1 in 3 are a washout.
Heavy snow and strong winds shut down schools and canceled flights. The system first hit Nova Scotia Tuesday evening, quickly creating hazardous conditions. Police told motorists to stay off the roads, and Halifax Transit buses stopped mid-route for several hours. Will Collins had to leave his car here overnight.
I was basically spinning out, and it was a question of either potentially running into somebody or just parking at some place for the evening.
Which meant digging it out the next day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
The storm left up to 35 centimeters worth of snow to clean up in Halifax.
I don't mind it. I love that we got school off. That's the best part.
We do ask that people find a place to park off the street so that snow clearing efforts can continue.
While this snowfall was not as extreme as the historic blizzard less than 2 weeks ago, the province's fire marshal has warned of the risks of falling snow and ice for propane tanks after a senior died when sliding snow damaged a line last week in Sydney, causing an explosion. The Cape Breton Regional Municipality still dealing with the 150 centimeters that came down before.
So we did actually receive federal approval earlier in the week to dump the snow into the Sydney Harbour, which has definitely helped with snow removal efforts.
This Valentine's Day storm is expected to leave Newfoundland by Thursday. although Atlantic Canadians know a rebound is more than likely. Storm season far from over. Heidi Petracek, Global News, Halifax.
The federal environment minister is trying to clarify something he said about investing in new road infrastructure. According to the Montreal Gazette, Steven Guilbeault told a group of public transit advocates the federal government will no longer fund expanding road networks in Canada and instead focus on public transportation. That was not well received by the opposition, who, as David Akin explains, accused the environment minister of being out of touch. David.
Well, Donna, you know, Environment Minister Steven Guilbeault is an ardent enthusiast in favor of tough climate change regulations, electric vehicle use, carbon pricing, and that approach has won him fans, mostly in Quebec, but it has also won him lots of critics.
Well, the crazy carbon tax minister has done it again. This time, he's saying that the federal government is not going to support any new road construction.
Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre seized on comments Guilbeault made Monday to a public transit advocacy group. Our government, Guilbeault said, has made the decision to stop investing in new road infrastructure. According to the Montreal Gazette, Guilbeault suggested Canadians do not need more roads since they can take transit and use alternate forms of transportation. The analysis we have done, Guilbeault said, is that the network is perfectly adequate to respond to the needs we have. Guilbeault did not dispute those remarks and on Wednesday had this to say.
I was talking specifically about projects like the Troisième Lien that the CAQ government in Quebec wants to move forward with.
The Troisième Lien is a controversial multi-billion-dollar project to build a tunnel under the St. Lawrence to connect Quebec City and Lévis. That project is currently on hold.
Prime Minister, why
in any event, it fell to the Prime Minister in question period to further clarify Guilbeault's remarks.
Our government's approach to investing in trade corridors and roads that Canadians rely on has not changed since 2015.
The PM reeled off projects the feds have funded, like the Gordie Howe Bridge in Windsor or highway twinning projects in Newfoundland and in Nova Scotia. Nonetheless, the episode was yet another example of how Guilbeault's enthusiasm to be a climate change warrior can sometimes give his own side some political headaches. Donna.
Okay, David Akin in Ottawa, thank you. Thousands of rideshare and food delivery drivers walked off the job today in a one-day strike to call for higher wages and better benefits. Protests took place around the world, including Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. Companies like Uber say they offer drivers flexibility. The drivers, though, say their wages are unfair, sometimes earning much less than minimum wage without benefits, vacation pay, or job security. Eric Sorensen reports on what these drivers are asking for.
This Uber driver in Toronto is blunt. He can no longer earn a living wage picking up customers.
We are getting paid like even not the minimum.
He says the company takes a big bite, and he points to additional fees like those charged by the city that slash his income.
We are Canadian, but nobody cares about us. None of the Labour Ministry, not the City of Toronto, not the Queen's Park, no one.
Uber driver! Today, drivers turned off the ignition from downtown Toronto to Vancouver International Airport and in many U.S. cities to boycott Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash because so much of what drivers take in goes to gas, insurance, and car maintenance.
The pay is very low for the driver right now. We're bleeding.
Uber, in a statement, says drivers choose the Uber platform because of the flexibility it gives them. They can earn money on their own terms. They control where and when they work, adding that the vast majority of drivers are satisfied. But a report from Ride Fair Toronto found that ride-hail drivers in the city earn a median income of $6.37 an hour, less than half the minimum wage in the province. Some call it legislated poverty because the laws allow the drivers to be treated as independent contractors.
They play on people's need for flexibility of work, but flexibility doesn't do anything for you if you're not earning anything.
Some experts suggest the time has come for government to declare the drivers employees as opposed to independent contractors. At a minimum, that could boost their income to minimum wage.
Even the threat of government changing drivers' status to employees might coax Uber and the rest to improve compensation, says this economics professor.
The labor market is just not working
as it should.
Uber says it supports a minimum wage during engaged time, but drivers say that doesn't account for how much time the drivers wait around for a fare earning nothing.
When Uber or companies like Uber refer to the amount that they pay for every hour, it's actually only counting in the hours that a customer is actually sitting in a driver's car.
For many drivers trying to earn a living, the formula used by drive-share platforms just doesn't add up. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.
After the harrowing case in Manitoba of a man who killed his partner, their 3 young children, and a teenage relative, a march today aimed at ending violence against women is expected to be especially poignant. Women and girls are 7 times more likely to be killed by an intimate partner than men and boys. That's according to Stats Canada. And Indigenous women and girls are killed at a rate 6 times higher than those who are not Indigenous. Melissa Ridgen is in Winnipeg. Melissa.
Donna, as the man accused in those murders sits in a jail cell awaiting a court appearance on 5 first-degree murder charges, the victims will be top of mind at a women's memorial march here tonight.
Really honoring the lives lost this past week.
Amanda Clearwater, her 3 children, and her niece Maya Grattan were found dead near Carman, Manitoba on Sunday. Police have charged the woman's partner and the father of those 3 children. We decided as a committee to dedicate the sacred fire to the mother, the niece, and the children.
He called 911 3 times!
Since the first march in Vancouver on February 14th, 1992, organizers across the country take part yearly to remind us that intimate partner violence has not gone away.
Today, a woman or girl is killed by violence every 48 hours. We're not surprised by these numbers because we just haven't done enough to end this violence.
From coast to coast, victims are remembered and calls renewed to do more to keep women safe. Also top of mind today, those 231 calls for justice that came from the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Advocates say it's been 5 years and far too little progress has been made. They hope that changes before next Valentine's Day when they will march again. Donna.
Okay, Melissa in Winnipeg tonight. Thanks. Canada's Defence Minister Bill Blair is in Brussels meeting with NATO allies. He announced Canada is sending $60 million to help Ukraine source supplies and equipment for F-16 fighter jets. The money is part of $500 million in support announced last June and builds on last month's announcement to help train Ukrainian pilots to fly the F-16. Ukraine says it has sunk a large Russian amphibious ship off occupied Crimea. Ukrainian military intelligence released this grainy video of what it claims are naval drones striking that vessel. They say the port side was hit, creating gaping holes. It is the 2nd major attack on a Russian warship in the Black Sea Fleet this month. 4 people have been killed in a wave of Israeli airstrikes deep inside southern Lebanon. Among the victims, a woman and 2 children. The strikes happened after a rocket hit a northern Israeli town earlier in the day, killing an Israeli soldier and wounding 7 others. Israel has been regularly trading fire with Lebanon's Hezbollah militant group since the Hamas attacks on Israel on October 7th. A terrifying scene in Turkey where a massive landslide swallowed up an open-pit gold mine. At least 9 workers are missing. Hundreds of rescuers are searching for those trapped, but hope is fading. Experts warn the soil may contain dangerous substances used to extract gold, such as cyanide. 4 senior mine officials have been arrested. The union says its past warnings about a looming disaster at the mine had gone unheeded. In Indonesia, votes are being counted in a complex single-day election for that young democracy. More than 200 million people were eligible to vote. Indonesia has 17,000 islands and 700 languages and is spread over an area as large as the U.S. The economy is fast-growing, but millions still live in poverty. Indonesia's defense minister has taken a commanding lead in unofficial results. His supporters see him as a strong leader who can offer stability. Critics reject him over human rights abuse allegations. Official results are expected March 20th. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are in Canada tonight. Coming up, what they're doing on the slopes at Whistler. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle are in Whistler, BC today, 1 year ahead of the 2025 Invictus Games, which will be hosted in Whistler and Vancouver. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex joined competitors on the slopes this afternoon as they trained for skiing and snowboarding events. It is a cause close to Prince Harry's heart, and these will be the first Invictus Games to feature winter sports. Neetu Garcha is in Whistler tonight. Neetu.
Yeah, Donna, over the next few days, this BC resort town will serve as a training ground, and Harry and Meghan are here standing in solidarity with injured and sick service personnel and veterans.
Competitors, coaches, and managers from around the world are taking part, fine-tuning their skills in preparation for next year's Invictus Games. Organizers say this week's training camp is not just about honing athletic abilities, but about fostering a sense of community and resilience among nations participating in the Games. Founded by Prince Harry himself, he's meeting with some of the competitors, offering words of encouragement as anticipation builds for the 2025 Invictus Games in Vancouver and Whistler. More than 500 competitors from more than 20 nations are set to take part. It'll make history as the first Invictus Games to feature winter sports like alpine skiing, Nordic skiing, skeleton and wheelchair curling, alongside indoor sports like sitting volleyball, swimming, wheelchair rugby and wheelchair basketball. It will be the second time the Games are held in Canada. Toronto hosted in 2017. And participants here say they're eagerly awaiting a celebration of courage, unity and the unbreakable human spirit.
No siento mis piernas, pero tengo mis brazos.
I don't feel my legs, but here, just having the arms, I feel that I can walk again.
This isn't about just the sport, it's about their journey to wellness, whether it's physical wellness or mental wellness.
Next year's event will mark the 7th installment of the Invictus Games, which organizers say is a testament to the enduring legacy of resilience and determination born out of the experiences of Harry himself after his deployment in Afghanistan. Donna?
All right, Neetu in Whistler, BC. Thanks. Still ahead, the Ottawa Refugee charity reeling after a devastating robbery. A nonprofit in Ottawa devoted to helping refugees has been ransacked by thieves. Staff and volunteers say they found their warehouse of donated furniture and goods a mess, stripped of anything that looked expensive. Abigail Beeman reports on what happened and those who are stepping up to help.
Everything was literally strewn across the floor.
It's called House to Home. Susie Shore-Sauve and her team gathered donated furniture and goods to help refugees turn their new houses in Canada into warm homes. Now, she says, someone has violated hers.
They went through all the drawers.
The team arrived Tuesday to find their Ottawa warehouse turned upside down.
I have a really sick feeling in my stomach that they probably had been here before and knew the great items that we had, because they did target all the new things.
Thieves took everything from TVs and new bedding, towels, clothes, to tools and keys. Founded in 2020, the need keeps growing. 25 families from all over the world already on a wait list this week. The break-in means they'll wait longer.
They'll have to, unfortunately, sleep on the floor for a little while longer, which is horrible to say.
We just got here with the suitcase. We didn't have nothing.
Warehouse manager Asadullah Rahimi understands just what a difference the organization makes. They helped him when he arrived as a refugee from Afghanistan with his wife and 6 children in 2021. With a background in logistics, now he works for House to Home.
When they're asking for something and I'm saying, yeah, you can have it, and there's like water coming to their eyes.
The group is looking for good quality furniture and financial donations. They'd already been wondering how to pay a $1,700 hydro bill. Now they're out of pocket for new locks and upgraded security too.
I brought blankets.
Neelam Bandari heard what happened and dropped off new bedding, soliciting donations from friends and neighbors too.
It was just shocking because I would never think that an organization such as this would be targeted.
Neither could House to Home, still processing the shock as Ottawa police begin an investigation. Abigail Beeman, Global News, Ottawa.
paying to neuter your ex on Valentine's. The unique campaign catching on at animal shelters across North America, coming up on Global National.
Today is Valentine's Day, and if you buy into all the hype about flowers and chocolates, go for it. If, however, you're at a different place in your life and want to exact a little revenge on your ex, you can turn to an animal shelter and neuter your ex. As Heather Urix-West explains, it's actually an act of love.
For the unlucky in love, there's nothing quite like the affection of a pet. And if you're looking for a bit of revenge this Valentine's Day, this Southern Alberta animal shelter has a fix for that too.
The concept is just send us $50 to help cover the cost of the spay and the neuters, and we'll name a cat after whoever you want us to name your cat after.
A chance to neuter your ex. In the week since its launch in the community of about 2,000, the concept seems to be catching on.
I've got a Tyler and an Ian and a Rick and a John.
All men, though.
All men so far, yeah. Come on, you guys.
Only first names are used, and the initiative helps keep the town's feral animal population under control. Nanton isn't the first shelter to offer the opportunity. A similar program in Humboldt, Saskatchewan has been heralded as a big success. We never expected our post to see so much attention, the shelter posted on social media. You have donated a total of $2,250, 45 cats to be named.
All over the world, overpopulation of community cats is a huge issue. So really we need to work all together to take care of those cats.
In Blackwood, New Jersey, the campaign has seen a few Ians and Tylers too. The idea so popular, the Homeward Bound Pet Adoption Center plans to keep things going well beyond Valentine's Day. Nanton's shelter plans to extend its campaign too.
We try to look around, try to find something different to do, and hopefully pique some interest, and this one worked.
The chance to help an animal while healing heartbreak, a Valentine's Day win-win. Heather Urix-West, Global News, Nanton, Alberta.
And that is Global National for this Wednesday. I'm Donna Friesen. No revenge needed here. Swans usually mate for life. And our Your Canada this Valentine's Day are these swans in Wellington, Ontario. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.